The city pulsed with light and sound, a dizzying blur of neon towers, hovering vehicles and alien shapes moving too fast to follow. Cade Arlen ducked under a low beam of energy, clutching a stolen tech module, trying not to draw attention. He wasn't supposed to be here, not alone, not this deep into the alien market. But the prize was worth the risk. Something he could sell, repair, and finally use to leave this place behind. Then he heard it. A shrill, broken cry that cut through the chaos like glass. Cade froze. It wasn't human, and it wasn't any alien he recognized. It was small, desperate, full of fear. He scanned the street, eyes narrowing. Most creatures ignored it, moving on with their daily chaos. But he couldn't. Something about the sound, raw, trembling, pleading, pulled him forward. He pushed through a crowd of six-limbed merchants and glowing-eyed shoppers. The cry came again, louder this time, bouncing off metal walls and humming energy wires. Cade rounded a corner and stopped short. A tiny dragon lay trapped between a pile of alien debris and the scuttling legs of scavenger creatures. Its scales shimmered, glowing faint blue, pulsing with every twitch of fear. Its wings were too small to lift it, its tail curled defensively. The scavengers circled, sharp claws tapping against metal, eyes glinting with hunger. "Hey, leave it alone," Cade shouted, sprinting forward. The scavengers froze for a heartbeat, but they didn't scatter. One hissed, a high clicking sound that made Cade's stomach tighten. The dragon let out another cry, a sound that seemed almost human in its desperation. Cade's heart thumped in his chest. "I can't just leave it." He scanned the debris. Pipes, loose crates, and hovering energy cables littered the street. If he could move something, distract the scavengers, maybe he could get the dragon out. He grabbed a fallen crate and hurled it toward a wall. Sparks flew as it collided with an energy conduit. The scavengers hissed and retreated a step, startled. The dragon twitched and pressed against Cade's boots, looking up with wide, luminous eyes that seemed to beg, "Please." Cade knelt, careful not to scare it. "It's okay. I've got you." His hand hovered, then touched the dragon's tiny head. Heat radiated through his palm, a faint, almost electrical tingle. The scales shifted colors, blue to green to a soft gold. Cade blinked. It was reacting to him. "Interesting," he muttered, but no time to study. The scavengers were regrouping, and now bigger creatures, more dangerous, approached from the alley's mouth. Cade grabbed a pipe from the debris and swung it, not to kill but to scare. Sparks and smoke hissed, and one scavenger yelped, retreating. The dragon hissed too, tiny wings flaring, the faint glow brightening with each movement. Cade realized it was trying to fight back in its own small way. Courage, even in something so small, had weight. He smiled briefly despite the tension. "We'll get through this. Stick with me." He lifted the dragon gently, feeling its pulse against his forearm. The scavengers hesitated, unsure. Cade darted down the narrow alley, the glowing city above casting strange shadows. He didn't know where he was going, only away from danger, but moving was better than standing still. A sudden clanging behind him made Cade spin. Another predator, a massive armored alien, blocked the alley's exit. Its many eyes focused on them, and its limbs made the ground tremble with each step. Cade's mind raced. There wasn't room to fight, and running straight into it would be suicide. The dragon's glow flared suddenly, bright and sharp, almost blinding. Cade shielded his eyes. When he looked back, the predator staggered, shielding its vision. The glow was chaotic, pulsing in rhythm with the dragon's heartbeat. Cade realized the creature wasn't just scared, it had a weapon he didn't understand. "Good job," he whispered, though fear clawed at his chest. He didn't have time to study it, but he noted it carefully. The moment passed, and Cade had a choice. Risk climbing the crumbling fire escape to the rooftops or retreat further into the unknown alleys below. Either way, danger waited. He picked a narrow staircase leading upward, using his agility to dodge loose cables and sparks. The dragon squirmed but didn't panic, trusting him in a way that made Cade's chest tighten. This tiny, helpless creature had no one else, and he was the only one willing to step in. Above, the neon skyline stretched endlessly, and Cade caught his first glimpse of the city's scale from the fire escape. He realized they were far from safety, far from anyone who would care. And yet he didn't hesitate. He would protect this dragon no matter what. But as they reached the roof, a shadow passed overhead, a massive shape, wings wide, darker than night itself. Cade froze, heart pounding. The dragon stiffened against his chest. From the darkness above, a deep, resonating roar echoed down the alley. Cade looked up, eyes widening. This wasn't the scavengers. Something bigger, much bigger, had noticed them. The dragon squeaked sharply, almost warning him, and Cade realized this was only the beginning. Cade's heart slammed in his chest as the shadow glided above, wings slicing the neon haze. The dragon pressed tighter against him, glowing brighter with every frantic pulse. Cade's mind raced. There was no time to plan. They had to move now. He sprinted along the rooftop, careful of loose panels and glowing energy conduits. The dragon chirped, a soft, urgent sound that made Cade glance down. The city streets far below were crowded with alien life, indifferent to the chaos above. Cade realized something. Even here no one would help. He was truly alone. The massive winged shape shifted overhead, circling like a predator studying prey. Cade dodged a loose wire sparking with electricity, then leapt over a low wall, the dragon gripping his forearm. The creature's glow reflected off the metal buildings, drawing attention from anyone looking up. Cade cursed under his breath. He didn't need witnesses, he needed escape. Below, the scavengers from before had regrouped and now were climbing after them, agile and relentless. Cade realized he couldn't just outrun one threat. There were multiple dangers stacked together. His options narrowed. He scanned the rooftops. Some panels were weak, others led to fire escapes, but the jump distances were risky. The dragon chirped again, but this time with a stronger, almost commanding tone. Cade's eyes widened. Its glowing scales pulsed faster, lighting up the narrow path ahead. Something told him the dragon wasn't just scared, it was guiding him. Intelligence. Awareness. Coordination. Cade swallowed hard. He had to trust it. He adjusted his steps to match the dragon's cues. When a panel cracked under his weight, he rolled, letting the scavenger scramble past him. A discarded energy rod hummed nearby. Cade grabbed it, holding it like a baton. The moment the next scavenger lunged, Cade swung, sending a pulse of electricity from the rod. Sparks flew and the alien hissed, retreating. The dragon chirped in what sounded like delight, and Cade allowed himself a brief, tense smile. Small victory. But no time to celebrate. Above, the massive winged figure dove suddenly. Cade's stomach lurched as he ducked behind a ventilation unit. The dragon's glow flared like a flare, and the creature screeched in frustration. Cade realized it wasn't attacking immediately, it was testing them, observing. His mind raced. What could a creature this big want? Why hadn't it swooped down before? He had to think fast. He couldn't fight it head-on. He couldn't outrun it easily either. His eyes darted across the rooftops until he spotted a vertical shaft leading down. A service elevator large enough for the dragon, maybe even the predator if it followed. Risky. But it was a chance. Cade sprinted, leaping from panel to panel, the dragon glowing softly in his arms. The predator swooped lower, but Cade ducked behind a glowing sign, narrowly avoiding a lethal sweep of its wing. Sparks from exposed conduits rained around them, lighting the night in dangerous, strobing flashes. The dragon chirped urgently. Cade understood instinctively, they had to descend now. He shoved open the elevator door and jumped inside, ducking as the predator's shadow darkened the shaft. The dragon's glow illuminated the interior, revealing controls Cade barely recognized. A simple push of a lever and the elevator jolted downward, clattering with metal and gear. Outside, the predator shrieked, smashing its claws against the shaft's metal siding. Cade felt the vibrations through the floor. Below, the scavengers swarmed the building, trying to follow, but the elevator's speed put vertical distance between them. Cade's mind raced. They weren't safe yet. Nothing guaranteed safety in this city, but they had a momentary advantage. The dragon chirped again, this time softly brushing Cade's hand with its tiny snout. A warmth ran through him, a connection forming, fragile but real. Cade realized that, even though he'd saved it, this creature could be the key to understanding a bigger danger lurking in this alien world. Suddenly the elevator jolted violently. Cade's stomach dropped. A cable outside snapped, dangling dangerously, and the massive predator clawed at the edge, tearing through metal. Sparks flew inside the elevator. Cade grabbed the dragon closer, protecting it as debris fell around them. Panic surged, but he forced himself to focus. He twisted a lever to stabilize the elevator, using every ounce of strength and instinct. Sweat dripped down his forehead. The dragon chirped, almost reassuring him. Cade realized something remarkable. The creature wasn't helpless. It was adapting, reacting, coordinating with him in ways he hadn't expected. A partnership was forming in the middle of chaos. The elevator reached the lower level with a heavy clang. Cade kicked open the door, dropping into a service corridor barely wide enough for both of them. The scavengers had not followed. They had hesitated at the shaft. Cade took a deep breath, adrenaline still racing. The predator's shadow had vanished for now, but the feeling of being hunted remained. He peered into the corridor. Flickering lights revealed pipes, cables, and a maze of pathways stretching in every direction. Safe? Not yet. But Cade understood one thing clearly: they had survived the first chase together. The dragon had trusted him. He had protected it. And now both of them had a chance to discover what this city truly hid, and why creatures like this dragon were so rare, so wanted, and so feared. A sudden metallic click echoed behind him. Cade spun. The corridor wall shifted slightly, revealing a hidden panel. Red light spilled out, strange glyphs glowing faintly. The dragon chirped, ears flicking toward it. Cade's stomach twisted. This wasn't just a city of scavengers and predators. There was something else here, something watching, waiting, deeper than either of them had realized. The dragon trembled slightly in his arms, but Cade's grip tightened. "We'll find out," he whispered. Together. The corridor ahead seemed empty, yet the shadows moved oddly, almost alive. Cade's pulse quickened. Whatever was in this city, it knew they were here, and it wasn't finished with them yet. Cade pressed himself against the corridor wall, heart still hammering from the elevator chaos. The dragon trembled slightly in his arms, its glow dimming to a soft pulse. The strange red light spilling from the hidden panel ahead flickered like it had a rhythm, almost like it was breathing. Cade squinted, curious and cautious. Whatever this was, it wasn't random. He set the dragon down gently on the floor, keeping one hand hovering above it. "Stay close," he whispered. The creature chirped softly in response, nudging his hand with its snout. Cade took a deep breath and stepped toward the glowing panel. The glyphs etched into the metal were intricate, twisting shapes that seemed alive under the red light. They pulsed faintly as he reached out. The moment his fingers brushed the symbols, the corridor shifted. A section of the wall slid open silently, revealing a hidden chamber beyond. Cade froze, sensing the weight of discovery. Inside, the room was unlike anything he had expected. Walls lined with ancient carvings, glowing runes floating in the air, and in the center, a circular platform with a faint blue energy hum. He glanced at the dragon. Its scales flickered brighter, as if recognizing something familiar. Cade's brow furrowed. "You know this place?" he asked softly, but the dragon only chirped, staring at the platform. He moved closer, noticing the carvings along the walls. Dragons depicted in flight, interacting with beings that clearly weren't like any aliens he had seen in the city. The glyphs told a story, but he couldn't read it fully. Still, one message was clear: dragons were not just animals. They were special. Suddenly, the platform pulsed, projecting holographic images into the air. Cade stumbled back in surprise. Scenes of dragons flying above alien cities, glowing energy flowing from them, and strange symbols that seemed to match the ones on the walls. Cade's eyes widened. "They were revered," he whispered. The dragon chirped again, almost proudly, its glow steady now. A noise from behind made Cade spin. The shadowy predator from before had found them, slipping into the chamber with silent, deliberate steps. Its massive eyes scanned the room, locking onto the dragon. Cade's pulse quickened. The predator wasn't just hunting, it was targeting something specific. Cade's mind raced. The dragon was small, almost helpless against the predator's size, yet there was something inside it that made it dangerous, or valuable. He scanned the chamber for anything to use. A floating rune hovered near the platform, glowing blue. He grabbed it instinctively, feeling energy ripple through his fingers. The dragon's eyes widened, its scales flashing in sync with the rune. Cade realized it wasn't just energy, it was a key, a way to manipulate what the dragon could do. The predator lunged suddenly, massive claws snapping. Cade swung the rune toward it. Blue energy burst outward, striking the predator like a net of light. The creature yelped, momentarily stunned. Cade felt a surge of hope. The dragon chirped excitedly, its glow flaring. Cade understood they could fight together. He shouted, "Follow me," and grabbed the dragon. Using the platform's energy, he leapt across the room, pushing off walls and floating conduits to avoid the predator's swiping limbs. Sparks flew, glyphs glimmered, and the dragon's glow lit their path. Cade realized they were becoming a team, instinctively coordinating moves. He marveled at the creature's intelligence and bravery. This wasn't just survival, it was partnership. At the far side of the chamber, a narrow corridor opened. Cade dove through it with the dragon, the predator right behind. But then the floor beneath them shifted. Panels of metal rose and fell, creating a labyrinth. Cade cursed under his breath. He could navigate it with quick thinking, but the predator's size made it slower. They had an edge. The dragon chirped urgently, pointing its snout toward a shimmering door at the corridor's end. Cade hesitated. It wasn't just a door, it pulsed with energy, humming in a way that resonated with the dragon's glow. He reached out carefully, pressing a hand against it. Symbols flared, and the door slid open silently. Beyond was a small chamber filled with more glyphs, ancient diagrams showing dragons bonding with humans. Cade's stomach twisted. Humans? Bonding? A sudden realization hit him. This isn't just a city hiding dragons. Someone, or something, planned this. They knew humans could connect with them. His voice trailed off, awe and fear mixed. The dragon chirped, nudging a symbol that lit up brightly in response. Cade's mind raced. The dragon's abilities weren't random, they were meant to interact with humans. A metallic clatter behind them froze Cade in place. The predator had recovered, more furious than ever, and a new sound joined it. A low rumble echoing through the chamber, vibrating the walls. Cade's eyes darted around. The glyphs pulsed as if reacting to the sound. The room itself seemed alive, aware of their presence. Cade picked up the dragon, holding it close. I think we just found something bigger than we imagined, he said, voice low. The dragon chirped softly, almost affirming his thought. The predator growled, circling, but Cade felt a spark of determination. They weren't just running anymore, they were uncovering a secret. He glanced at the glyphs one more time. Ancient dragons, humans, energy flowing between them. Cade's chest tightened with awe. If the city's predators hunted dragons for power, then the bond he was forming with this tiny creature wasn't just survival, it could change everything. Then the wall behind them hissed. A section of the glyph chamber slid open silently, revealing a shadowed figure, taller than any human or dragon he had seen. Eyes glinting, energy crackling faintly around them, it stepped forward. Cade's breath caught. The figure spoke, voice low and melodic, but unintelligible, yet somehow the dragon responded, flaring its glow in recognition. Cade tightened his grip. Who are you?" he whispered. The figure tilted its head almost curiously and stepped closer. The predator behind them shrieked in warning, but the figure raised a hand, stopping it instantly. Cade's mind raced. Allies or enemies? This was bigger than the predator. Bigger than the city. The dragon chirped urgently, nudging Cade's chest, and Cade realized the truth. Survival alone wasn't enough anymore. They had stumbled into something ancient, powerful, and dangerous. And whatever came next, it would test everything. His courage, his intelligence, and the bond forming between human and dragon. The shadowed figure stepped fully into the red glow of the chamber, revealing a silhouette unlike anything Cade had seen. Energy hummed in the air. The dragon's pulse flared in anticipation. Cade swallowed hard. The real challenge was only beginning. Cade's pulse pounded as he faced the shadowed figure. Its silhouette glowed faintly under the red glyphs, energy rippling around it like a living storm. The dragon stiffened against his chest, scales flashing nervously but not panicking. Cade gritted his teeth. This wasn't just about escape anymore, they were on the edge of something much bigger. The predator from before circled behind them, claws scraping the metallic floor. Its growl reverberated through the chamber, warning Cade of imminent attack. He adjusted his stance, holding the dragon close. "We're not backing down," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. The figure stepped forward and suddenly the air vibrated. Cade felt a sharp pull in his chest like a magnetic force pushing against him. The dragon responded instantly, glowing bright blue, the light pulsing in rhythm with Cade's heartbeat. Cade realized the bond between them wasn't just trust, it was connection, a shared energy that allowed them to react as one. The predator lunged. Cade swung the dragon slightly to the side, and in that moment the creature emitted a pulse of radiant energy. The predator shrieked, staggering back, but it wasn't enough. Cade had seconds to act. He grabbed a glowing glyph from the wall, its energy warm in his palm, and aimed at the floor near the predator. Sparks erupted as the symbols activated, sending a shockwave across the chamber. The predator roared, halting its advance, but Cade knew it would recover. He glanced at the shadowed figure. Its glowing eyes were fixed on him, analyzing, calculating. Cade realized this wasn't just a neutral observer, it had the power to manipulate the city's energy and possibly control the predators. If he didn't act fast, both he and the dragon could be trapped or worse. Cade took a deep breath and focused. He had to use everything he had learned about this city, the glyphs, the dragon's energy, and his own quick thinking. He pointed at a series of hovering conduits overhead. "We'll need to work together," he murmured to the dragon. The creature chirped, tilting its head as if understanding every word. He guided the dragon upward, holding it close while jumping to a higher platform. The dragon's glow flared as it released a concentrated pulse toward a cluster of energy conduits. Sparks flew and a section of the ceiling collapsed, sending metal panels sliding down. The predator screeched in frustration, and Cade seized the chance to lead the dragon through a narrow passage. The shadowed figure moved with eerie speed, energy streaming from its hands, trying to block their path. Cade dodged just in time, feeling the heat as a pulse of energy burned past him. He grabbed a loose conduit and swung it like a battering ram, forcing the figure to leap back. The dragon chirped sharply, flaring its glow to create a dazzling distraction. Cade darted through the passage, heart racing. The chamber seemed alive, glyphs pulsing in response to their movements. Every step forward was a gamble. He noticed a small platform near the far wall, hovering slightly above the ground. If he could reach it, they might gain leverage over the shadowed figure. He sprinted, dodging falling debris, the dragon clinging tightly. Just as they reached the platform, the predator lunged again. Cade barely pushed the dragon to safety, rolling as claws scraped the edge. Sparks from the glyphs rained down, illuminating Cade's face in brief flashes. He realized they were almost at a critical point, either they would escape or the predator would pin them down. Thinking fast, Cade pressed the dragon to the platform, using its glowing energy to activate the glyphs. Light burst from the walls and a barrier formed around them, shimmering blue. The predator struck it, claws banging against the shield, but it couldn't break through. Cade panted, adrenaline surging. They had bought a moment, but the shadowed figure was still advancing, calm and calculating, as if it had expected this. Cade realized the only way forward was to combine his energy with the dragon's fully. He lifted the creature, holding it close and focused on the glyphs. The dragon's glow intensified, matching the patterns in the walls. Energy pulsed from them in waves, interacting with the glyphs, creating a resonance that sent the predator stumbling backward. Sparks and light filled the chamber, almost blinding Cade. In that blinding moment, Cade felt a surge of connection, not just with the dragon but with the city itself. He understood, instinctively, that the glyphs were designed to channel energy through beings capable of empathy, courage, and intelligence. Humans. Only someone willing to risk themselves for others could unlock their potential. Cade gritted his teeth, summoning every ounce of determination. The predator shrieked again, recoiling from the combined energy. Cade used the opportunity to leap toward the corridor's exit, the dragon glowing brightly in his arms. Behind them, the shadowed figure paused, almost studying them before retreating into the depths of the chamber. Cade didn't wait. He ran, following the dragon's instinct toward safer corridors, heart racing, adrenaline surging. Finally, they reached a landing above the city streets. Cade set the dragon down briefly, both of them panting. The glow from the dragon's scales faded to a gentle shimmer. Cade's chest heaved, sweat running down his face. He looked around. The city below was alive with chaos, unaware of the battle that had just occurred above. The dragon chirped, nudging Cade's hand, and he smiled despite exhaustion. They had survived together. But Cade knew this was only the beginning. Something ancient, powerful, and dangerous had noticed them. The predator was still out there. The shadowed figure was still out there. And the dragon was more than just a creature in need of help. A sudden flicker of movement caught Cade's eye. Across the rooftops, shadows shifted unnaturally. He tightened his grip on the dragon. Whatever waited for them next, he knew one thing clearly: he would not run. Not now. Not ever. The dragon chirped softly, and Cade realized that in this alien city, humans weren't powerless. They could fight, adapt, and shine, even against impossible odds. Together they would face whatever came next. And somewhere deep in the city, hidden from view, something ancient stirred, watching. Cade's pulse quickened. The real challenge was still ahead. Cade crouched on the rooftop, the city lights stretching endlessly below. His chest heaved, sweat stinging his eyes, but he didn't let go of the dragon. Its small body trembled against his arm, scales glowing softly in shades of blue and gold. They were both alive, both exhausted, yet neither had faltered. Cade let out a slow breath, relief mingling with a growing sense of awe. He looked down at the streets below. The alien market buzzed with activity, completely unaware of the battle that had just unfolded above. Predators had scattered, city authorities had not intervened, and the shadowed figure, whatever it was, had retreated into the depths of the hidden chamber. Cade realized the truth: their survival had not gone unnoticed, and that was both comforting and terrifying. The dragon chirped softly, nudging Cade's hand. Its glowing eyes held an intelligence he hadn't seen before. Cade smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on him. "You trust me," he murmured. "Even when no one else would." "I get it." "I do." The dragon let out a small high-pitched trill, a sound Cade took as affirmation. They had formed a bond stronger than he'd expected, born of danger, courage and mutual reliance. Cade lowered himself to sit on the edge of the rooftop. He let the dragon perch beside him, its tiny claws gripping his sleeve gently. He studied its glowing scales, the way they shimmered in response to his movements. Somehow he knew this creature wasn't just a baby in need of protection, it was a key to secrets the city had hidden for centuries. The glyphs, the chamber, the predator, the shadowed figure, they were all connected. And now Cade held the first piece of the puzzle. A soft hum drew his attention. The dragon's glow flared slightly, and Cade noticed faint patterns emerging in its scales, symbols matching the ancient glyphs from the hidden chamber. His mind raced. This wasn't random. The dragon could communicate through energy, perhaps even influence the city's mysterious systems. Cade realized that together they weren't just survivors, they were participants in something far greater. He gently stroked the dragon's head, feeling a sense of calm wash over him. "We made it, for now," he whispered. But he knew it wasn't just survival that mattered anymore. They had a purpose. Humans could endure, could adapt, could rise even in a world where everything seemed against them. Cade's chest tightened as he felt the weight of that responsibility, but he didn't flinch. He had faced impossible odds before and he would face them again. Suddenly, a flicker of movement in the alley below caught his eye. Cade stiffened. The predator had returned. Its eyes glowed with frustration and curiosity. But Cade didn't panic. He knew the dragon could help and he trusted in their bond. The dragon chirped softly, its glow brightening in response to Cade's heartbeat. Cade smiled grimly. Together they could face whatever came next. A soft vibration ran through the rooftop beneath them. Cade glanced around, noticing subtle shifts in the city's energy grids, the same kind of energy that powered the glyph chamber. His stomach tightened. Whatever the shadowed figure was, it had left traces, and those traces were now active, spreading through the city like veins. Cade realized this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. He crouched low, holding the dragon close. "We can't go back to the streets, not yet," he whispered. "We need to understand what's really happening, and why you're here." The dragon chirped, almost knowingly, and Cade felt a spark of hope. They weren't just fleeing, they were learning, discovering, preparing. A sudden metallic click echoed nearby. Cade spun, heart pounding. Nothing moved, yet the sound reverberated through the buildings. The city seemed alive in a way he hadn't noticed before. Energy pulses flickered in the distance, hinting at hidden machinery, ancient systems, and watchers who had remained silent until now. Cade understood the implication immediately. Their actions had consequences. Every choice could ripple across the city, drawing attention, allies and enemies alike. The dragon nudged Cade's hand again, softly, insistently. He met its gaze and realized they were partners in this fight, not just protector and protected. Courage wasn't enough. Intelligence, adaptability and empathy would be tested. Cade swallowed hard. He would rise to the challenge. Humans could endure, yes, but they could also inspire, lead and change outcomes that seemed impossible. Above, a shadow flickered across the rooftops. Cade's eyes narrowed. The predator wasn't the only threat. Somewhere in the depths of the city, the shadowed figure had not forgotten them. Cade realized that the real challenge had only just begun. But he didn't hesitate. He held the dragon closer, feeling its heartbeat sync with his own. Together they would confront whatever waited. The dragon chirped again and Cade let out a small, determined laugh. "We'll face it, together," he whispered. A wind swept across the rooftop, carrying the distant hum of city energy, and Cade felt the pulse of possibility beneath him. The predator might return, the shadowed figure might strike again, and the city itself might challenge them, but Cade Arlen would not turn away. Humans had survived worse. Humans had always adapted. And humans, when they acted with courage, intelligence and heart, could shine even in worlds that seemed impossible. Cade glanced at the dragon, glowing softly in the city night. "One day," he murmured, "we'll understand it all. And we'll be ready." A distant rumble echoed through the city, faint but unmistakable. Cade's pulse quickened. Somewhere beyond the rooftops, deeper into the alien city, something ancient was awakening. Something that would test every ounce of courage and ingenuity they possessed. Cade tightened his grip on the dragon. The future was uncertain, the dangers immense, but for the first time he felt ready. And as they watched the city pulse below, Cade whispered almost to himself. This is only the beginning.